It was a brutal loss by the Guardians.
I have a question for you guys, and we can talk about Genao's historic 4-hit debut and Cade Smith blows the save on the Rocchio error. I have a big picture question for you guys, and I looked for a stat. I couldn't find a stat, so you guys tell me if my impression of the Guardians in this regard is off. They're under 500, by the way, for the first time since late April when they were 15 and 16.
Yeah.
They're now 56 and 57. It just feels like, for whatever reason, this particular Guardians team does not have the same killer instinct they've had the last couple of years. Now, it's not necessarily a Cade Smith issue. I know he's 30 at 35 now on saves. Last night was a play by Rocchio that he should have made. But it just feels like...
I didn't see a good angle on that, by the way. I'm not 100% sure they would have gotten him out at first on that play.
Fair.
But
Either way, it just feels like they don't have that same killer instinct that they've had in years past, which has allowed them to win so many one-run games, to win so many close games.
Yeah.
Anytime it was a 9th inning, 8th inning, 5-5 game, 3-3 game, whatever, it felt like they had the advantage. They were the team that was making the little play. Last night, Quan bunts, pops out.
That was terrible.
Vogt said afterwards they called it from the dugout.
If they did,
Vogt said it was from the dugout. Vogt said it was from the dugout.
I think he's covering. He might be covering for Quan.
No, real quick, but either way, do you feel like the killer instinct is lacking compared to where it's been? Or
I think this time,
maybe I'm overreacting.
I think it's an overreaction. Okay. I think last year at this time we would have said the same thing. Remember, they stunk.
Yeah.
At this, and then they got great for the last 5 weeks. And I still think they're playing terrible baseball right now overall. I still think they're going to win the division. I'm still betting on them to win the division right now because as terribly as they've played, they're still only 3 games out of first.
Yeah.
I know 4 in the loss column, but it's not like Chicago's playing that great. They're not playing well. There's a lot of things. Yes, their clutch hitting's been terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't see it that black and white as that they're
it's
not.
Fair. I was more just asking.
One-run games a lot. Like, there's some flukiness and some luck that goes into it, and just balls bouncing your way or not bouncing your way. And you can see a big discrepancy year over year with teams. They may be terrific in one-run games one year and terrible the next, and there's no real great explanation for it, other than sometimes it's just the bounce of baseball.
Yeah, and their bullpen. I mean, listen, their bullpen's not as good as it's been. I mean, outside of Cade Smith, like there's
Gaddis
is a question mark. Zabrowski has been terrible.
Yeah,
I mean, but it's funny. And Bybee, like, you want to say he pitched a great game, but he gave 3 home runs.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the story of his season.
Yeah,
like he and the back-to-back home runs in the third.
Yeah,
he threw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, high dead center.
Yeah,
smashed, and then he hangs a breaking ball in the very next batter.
Guys who, like Polanco had been in
he was 0 for 26 before he hit the home run last.
Yeah, night. Then he gave up 2 home runs to what's his name, the right fielder,
Benj,
who's not a power hitter. It was a terrible game to lose 2 in a row to them. I mean, the Mets are playing as bad as anybody in baseball.
Yep.
They traded their entire bullpen outside of one guy before this.
I hated the Jan guy who the jump celebration.
He's so annoying.
And it's obnoxious.
Here's what I'll say to this. I am all about, in general, letting the kids play.
Yes.
And celebrating, and I'm fine with 99% of it. That's downright embarrassing.
I couldn't agree more.
That's embarrassing. And the Mets announcers, because when you watch the condensed game, it goes back and forth. And the Mets have great, I don't know their new radio guy.
Keith Hernandez on the TV call.
Yeah, Keith Hernandez is not very good. But their play-by-play guy, I mean, he's very knowledgeable, but he's kind of gone off the deep end. But they got Ron Darling. And they got their play-by-play guy's great, but to say come on, that's embarrassing. That's just the jumping is embarrassing.
The first time he gives up a home run, the pimp on the home run
is going to be immaculate.
The bat flip should be 75 feet in the air.
And again, I'm not a stick in the mud about these things, but that's just ridiculous.
I'd be fine with charging the mound on that.
Oh my God, what a clown!
You don't even have to get it.
And I'm with you. I wish there was more expressionism in baseball.
Yeah.
Players should be allowed to celebrate. I think a lot of the unwritten...
Not over strikeout.
That one...
Over strikeout.
That just felt...
I don't even care if he does that. The game's over. You want to do that? I can live with that. Right. But every strikeout? I mean, come on.
He got it was his first career strikeout. So I get it.
But he did that crap in the minors, too.
Yeah.
No, I know. And then he did it after a pitch that he thought was a strike.
Yeah,
they called and I'm just like,
what are you doing, man?
You look like a clown.
He does
doing
look
that.
like a
and
clown.
he ended up getting the last laugh because he got out of the inning.
Yes, he did.
And the Mets won, which makes it worse because we're clowning a guy that just won. But it was
the Guardians blew so many chances. I mean, it's like every inning they had bases loaded.
Bases loaded, nobody out.
And they can't score. And Okay, let's talk about these bunts, guys.
Bunts, and then we got to talk about Genao's 4-hit performance.
Yeah. Let's talk about the good first. Let's talk about
Let's do Genao first.
That was an amazing. By the way, his last at bat in the 9th inning,
he hit it great.
When he hit it, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was going to go out, but I thought it had a chance to be a double, and it just kind of died. But
I didn't look at this. It may have been the hardest hit ball he had all day.
Yeah,
like the exit velo might have been. I didn't see, but it might have been as good a swing.
That was a great job. Great. Yeah. I mean, just to get 4 hits in your first major league game and what should have been the game-winning RBI, and he got that hit. When they finally did score those 2 runs to take the, to tie and take the lead in the, was it 7th?
The 7th, yeah.
Those were both 2-out hits.
Yeah.
After they couldn't get any hits with no outs or 1 out. But, I mean, incredible game by him. Great start. I mean, I don't know what Jose's status is. Obviously, he's not going on the IL as of yet.
He pinch ran yesterday.
Yeah. So, which means that obviously the wrist is bothering him. I mean, he
looked like I know it's one game.
Yeah, you don't want to go crazy.
But he looked like he fit right in.
Yeah.
The moment was not too big for him.
No, definitely not.
He's swinging at the first pitch.
If he's up here, he's got to play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where he fits if Jose's healthy.
I think maybe you just
move guys around.
Yeah, you move
shuffle.
guys around.
But if
he's got to play just about every day.
Yeah, if you're going to bring him up here in August, he's got to play.
Right.
Especially if he, I mean,
is he just an infielder?
Yeah, he's not going to be.
Okay.
No. I mean, you could maybe a DH Jose a little bit, or I don't know. I mean, listen, if he is up here and plays well, they're going to have to move somebody to the outfield next year.
I think it's Pisano.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But overall, the start, Adele's been decent so far. Lowe had a good game yesterday. It's good, but I got to talk about these.
Yeah,
bunts.
the bunts. Now,
first of all, even the one that worked,
Martinez.
I don't like that bunt. Well, it didn't work. I mean, it worked. He got the bunt down.
Well, Martinez laid down a really good bunt.
Okay. I don't like that. Now, I can understand the argument for it. You can, to me, I know it's a tie game and they're trying to get the winning run into scoring position in the 9th inning. But I can't bunt when Patrick Bailey is the next batter. And I know Bailey had a decent game yesterday, and he hasn't been the worst hitter ever since coming to the Guardians, but he's not a good hitter, and overall he's unlikely to come through in that situation. Angel Martinez has been terrible since coming off the injured list. But if I'm at the bottom of the lineup, I can't sack bunt. I don't give up an out in that situation. The bunt in the 10th inning was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life.
And Kwan's been hot. You're taking the bat out of one of arguably your hottest hitter's hands to bunt. Are we
buying that vote wasn't just covering for Kwan in that situation?
I think in this instance, I believe him.
You believe him?
Yeah.
Then
I do too.
Then I'm questioning vote because that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Nobody plays you don't play to tie as the home team in the bottom of the 10th. You don't play to tie. That's a loser mentality.
I think I agree with you only because of how well Kwan's been swinging it lately.
Right.
But I am not. I'm not the guy who says don't ever bunt under any circumstances.
I'm not saying don't bunt under any circumstances.
I think that there's time and place for these.
These were not the time and places. Not at all. You got the top of the lineup up.
Well, and I think that's why you're playing for the tie.
Yeah.
Like all you need is a fly ball from DeLauder. That's it. You need a fly ball. And
people always say that, but that's assuming you get the guy over on the bunt. And number one, it's harder to sack bunt a guy to third than it is to second.
Yeah.
And that's part of the things that I think people always, it's like, but he's at third. Now we're going to, but part of the process is, are you going to get the successful bunt?
Right.
And guys don't bunt a lot.
Yeah.
Stephen Kwan's been, at the very least, you think Kwan's going to roll over and get it to, and he's going to get to third base.
If this was a month ago, I'd have no problem with it, with Kwan up, honestly, because he was swinging it so poorly.
Right, but he's not.
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
I hated that. I thought it was the dumbest thing to play for one run in that situation. That's just, Vogt's always talking out of his you-know-what about how it's just a matter of time. We got good hitters. Well, you just said you don't trust your hitters. You don't trust you don't even trust the top of your lineup.
Yeah.
Because you thought you had to settle for a sacrifice fly. That was terrible. And that was a terrible loss.
Had the game been tied, would you feel the same way, or would you have been more okay with the bunt?
I would have been okay with the bunt if it was tied.
I agree.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
Now I would have been okay either way. Like I'm letting Quan hit because he's hot right now, and when he's hot, he's putting the ball in play most of the time. He doesn't strike out very often.
Mm-hmm.
I know he did earlier in the game. Ty is a different story because now the winning runs at third.
Right.
I don't want the game to keep going. I don't know. I hate that. I hate it.
And the fact that it was such a porous attempt from Quan, and it just didn't look like he was, I won't say mentally locked in and ready for that particular action in that particular moment, but he's been swinging the bat. So his batting average is up to 260. His OPS is 680, which I know is not great. But
not great. It's bad.
A month ago, it was in the 500s. It's up 100 points in a month for a guy that doesn't hit home runs. Like, he has been their hottest hitter of late. And I understand I think he was 0 for 4 before that last night. So it wasn't like a great Quan game. He wasn't 3 for 4. But to your point, it doesn't matter because at that point, you're just basically conceding and playing for the tie.
Yeah.
And then you have to hope that you've already used your 2 or 3 best arms in the bullpen, that in an extended game, and granted, the Mets bullpen's not good either, you're going to have the arms to outlast another team.
Yeah,
when the top of their lineup was up next, and the Guardians would be in, 5, 6, 7.
It was a terrible decision. And then obviously, when it doesn't work, it makes it worse.
And it's a shame. It's a waste of an incredible historic performance from Genao in his MLB debut.
Yeah. That's a shame. But all right, listen, you got to avoid the sweep. I can't believe they have a chance to get swept by the Mets. Game time's at 1:00 today, and then you go on this big road trip with the White Sox and Tigers. 1:10 today. Now you got to face, and now tonight, this afternoon, Foster Griffin makes his Guardians debut. So I'll be looking forward to watching him. And Nolan McLean, though, is their best starter, their best.
Good pitching matchup.
Yeah, it should be good. So
110.
I'm excited to see Foster Griffin. I think Adele and Lowe have fit in well. Lowe looks like such a non-ball player, doesn't he?
He's huge.
Yeah.
He just looks big, and I'm sure he is like probably 6'4", 6'5", but. He looks like he towers over some of the other Guardians hitters in the box.
Yeah, he's not. But Adele looks like a ball player. Yeah. I mean,
I thought he was going to rob the home run last night.
He didn't miss by much.
No, I know. I thought he was going to get. That would have
been amazing.
I thought he was going to get
done it. Unfortunately, those guys couldn't come through at the end, but there'll be better days. I still think the Guardians are going to win this division, and I think they're going to win it by 3-4 games.
Wow.
We'll see.
We'll talk about it in a little bit.
Even though they're playing absolute garbage baseball.